What is up, guys? Welcome. Crypto FUD. And let's jump right into this, guys. Oh, man. I hope everybody's surviving out there. Happy Monday. Or is it so happy? We'll have to see how it goes out. But you know what, guys? We're going to be all right. I think we're going to be good. Let's go over some charts today. Maybe give you a little bit of hopium. Mix in with a lot of bearish stuff that we got going on. And we'll see how this plays out. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to be okay. I really do. I really think we're going to be all right. Just keep your heads up, guys. So what is going on? Jasmy, Art, Craig's in the house. What's going on? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, Craig. What's going on, brother? Talk to me, bro. What's going on? Do you only come out when it's bearish? Cowie, what's going on? Cowie said they say buy the dip, but I'm thinking you said I don't have more money. I don't have any more money left. I'll hodl. What remaining coins I have? I hear you, bro. Listen, you're not the only person. A lot of people are in that same position right now, dude. So don't worry. Do not worry, bro. Fantasy football research. All right, getting that fantasy football set up. I hear you, bro. Keep your mind off the charts a little bit. Well, listen, guys. Happy Monday. Let's jump right into it. I know it's been a big day on YouTube. Everybody's been, streaming like crazy. I feel like the YouTubers, they stream a little bit more when we're pumping, and they stream even more when we're dumping, right? But it's all right. I'm glad you guys are probably out there getting different perspectives from other YouTubers, and let's see what I have to say. Let's see what I have going on here. So Bitcoin right now sitting at around 54,800. You guys can see last night we did drop all the way down to 49,600, guys. 49,000. I literally was telling you guys, remember yesterday's stream, I was saying, bro, we could even get down into the 40s. I mean, I wasn't expecting it that night, but I was even saying yesterday we could even get down into the 40s. This was yesterday when we were sitting around 60K, and I mean, we saw a big drop. We saw one of the biggest drops we've seen in a while, right? Let's zoom out a little bit and see. So you guys can see a little bit more dramatic of a drop that we've seen since we jumped up and made that 70K. Just 4 days ago we made the 70K, and from the top of that to where we bottomed out so far, about a 30% move in Bitcoin. That is very significant. That is very, very significant. What blows my friggin' mind is that Bitcoin has dropped 30% in the last, exactly? So the 29th, so it's been about 6 days, right? Since we've dropped down about 30% down, 29 to be exact. Alts have literally, in my opinion, you would have expected the alts to be getting down into these like real scary numbers. And I mean, yes, a lot of them have dropped down considerably, but I mean, when I'm looking and I'm buying right now, or last night when I was buying, I was expecting more. I was expecting some of these crazy flash crash numbers, that we normally see that are very fast, right? When I'm looking last night, and I mean, I was up when the market hit 49,000, and I was just sitting there just hit buy on a lot of stuff that I'm picking up, right? And I mean, what I'm getting to is like a lot of projects that I'm looking at. I'm like, dude, this isn't, I mean, it's down yet. It's down 20%. I was expecting 50% on a lot of these projects. If you see Bitcoin drop down so much in the last few days, what I'm getting to is alts have honestly, they've really just had me looking like, damn, alts are really holding on. And what that means to me is a lot of retail buyers, because alts are going to be like majority retail buyers, right? A lot of retail buyers, you have a big, broad, a broad pie, or excuse me, forgive me. Let me drink a little bit of this pre-workout. Sorry. All right, let's get back into it. You have a big piece of the pie, right? If you're looking at like a pizza, I'd say like 40% have sold off, or they're scared, they're selling for losses. But you have that 50, 60% of the rest of the retailers that are holding, that are buying the dip. That's what that's telling me. Because if we saw 50, 60, 70% drops in some of these altcoins, that right there is telling you there's massive panic. There is panic out there, but you haven't seen massive panic when you see one of your favorite altcoins or something that you're invested in is down 60% in just a day, something like that. We haven't seen that. Yesterday, we were looking at stuff that was down maybe 20%. The most I saw, some of them 25, 30%, and that was like the really small cap projects. But majority of the alts weren't getting dumped as like I was expecting to see, given that Bitcoin had just gone from 60,000 all the way down to 9,000. So, that just tells me that, a lot of retail investors, particularly, are not giving up on this bull run yet, right? And a lot of us still believe that we have all-time highs coming. With that being said, I hope you guys are eating up the dip. I really do hope you guys are taking advantage of it. Obviously, not financial advice whatsoever. But, that's what I'm doing right now, right? That's the only thing that we can really control is us eating up those dips. So, make sure you guys are slapping that like as we get in here. Did you get a position on call? Bro, I freaking missed. I saw call drop down to that level that I was looking for, and I checked after the fact, and it already had bounced. So, I didn't get in on call yet, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. So, like I said, Bitcoin right now, 54,800. Actually, nice little retracement from where we saw, obviously, from that bottom. You can see a nice little small V-shaped recovery. If you're looking at the 2-hour chart right here, you can see this is the 20-day SMA moving average, and we still are running parallel but below the 20-day SMA, giving us that bearish kind of price range right now, right? So we're definitely nowhere out of the woods as of right now. Nothing right now. We are still sitting in the same kind of position that we were as we dropped down to 49,000. Just because we've bounced up, a few K towards the upside, do not get sidetracked and think that we are now running back up. We never know. We could, but I highly doubt it. Solana right now, kind of the same thing. Bottomed out. Solana did drop down. I was like, holy crap. Solana dropped down to 110 last night. You can see a nice little recovery up to 130. Even, it's crazy to say a recovery, Solana up to 130. That's just insane. But we dropped down to that 110. I was honestly waiting. I was like, drop down below 100, Solana. Come on. Drop down just briefly. Didn't do it. But if anybody caught that bottom right there at the 110, definitely a good buy right there. Jay, what's going on? Tim said it's a typical bull run drop. We'll be all right. I agree with you, Tim. 100%. Art said, did you get a position on call? You already answered that. And ate up some more Orty. And Brett, Art, I was eating up that Orty all freaking night and day to day. No Diddy on that one. That one just sounded a little weird. But yeah, you already know I was picking up ordinals for sure. Let's pull up ordinals right now and see. So yeah, I was obviously I grabbed this $20 ordinals all day. I told you I started buying in yesterday at 26. Yeah, 26, and I just been snagging up anything below that 26. I've been just eating up. Like right now, 23, not bad. I can still add to my bag and technically bring my average. I think my average is down around 25, 24, maybe somewhere around there now. But even right now, 23.90 would be pretty much what I have it at. So I don't mind just snagging up a few at a time, right? I told you I bought up a good foundation. As we drop down to like that 20, I was picking up big chunks, and now I'm kind of just buying small increments as we continue to stay down. You can see obviously we retraced a little bit for ordinals, but ordinals honestly hasn't retraced as fast as some of these other projects. And we'll pull them up right now. So you looking at the daily, obviously for the bubbles you guys can see, just to see a red. Helium actually is up 7%, which is very odd. And we have a few other little small miscellaneous projects that are up very slightly, very, very slightly. Looking at the hourly, though, you guys can see in the last few hours, really technically in this hour, you can see a lot of projects are trying to, just do a small little bounce. But don't get confused. Don't get psyched out on this. I honestly still think that we possibly are going to continue to see somewhat of either chopping to the side for right now, or possibly some more sell-offs. It looks like we've been getting the Asian market when we when on the States side, United States, maybe even Europe, when we're kind of all either Europe, it's late, the United States, we're asleep, the Asian side's awake. It seems like they're basically selling off, continuing the sell-off that we've had on the last few days. But maybe we're handing them the torch tonight. In the next few hours, it'll be pretty much nighttime in the States. We're handing them the torch. We have a little bit of a bounce. Maybe we'll see the Asia market take over and possibly start buying back in. So we'll have to see how it is. Now, we did cover a couple big things in regards to, yesterday. I pre-warned you guys about the Japan, the economy in Japan. A lot of Japan big stocks have been selling off. The banks have been doing really bad in Japan. On top of that, we have a lot of economic stuff on our end. We have a possible flare-up like I was talking about in the Middle East. We're not going to get into all that, but, just potential more drawn-in war over there. We have the unemployment really, I think that was the kickstart. The unemployment coming out at 4.3% really, I think, shocked a lot of people just because I think unemployment's getting to that level where it's starting to give, I think, a lot of big analysts and a lot of people that are, even the Feds, Jerome Powell and stuff like that, I think they're looking at it and they're like, holy crap, did we potentially start a crash in the market, right? Did we potentially kickstart us into a recession, And with that being said, a lot of people have been talking about possibly the Feds having an emergency meeting in the next week or two and announcing that they're going to immediately reduce interest rates. And remember what we were talking about for the last 6 months in regards to interest rates being dropped 0.25%, right? Well, a lot of things have changed in the last week. A lot of things have changed. And now I'm starting to really think that we are probably those crazy people that I told you about that were on here saying it was like 12%. We're calling for a half or 7.75% reduction in interest rates. I'm thinking they were the smart ones, and people like myself that were conservative saying, oh no, they're going to do maybe 1 or 2 ease in interest rates this year, and it's going to be only at 0.25%, 0.25. Now I'm starting to think that I was the one that was not thinking clearly, and it's very abundant that they're going to probably either do an emergency meeting within the next week or two, or at this next meeting, which is coming up in about 4.5, possibly, about 5 weeks from now, which I think is going to be a little bit too long for them to wait. In September, now we have 83% calling for either a 0.5 or a 0.75 decrease in ease in interest rates. That is a very, very big move right there. That's a very big move in regards to reducing interest rates. Now, one thing that I saw somebody talking about, and you guys know that I always tell you guys that Jerome Powell probably has one of the hardest jobs that we all, that you can think of right now. He's balancing the freaking economy, right? Inflation. He's trying not to crash the economy. He's trying to reduce inflation, right? It's insane. And what he does kind of dictates a lot that's going to go on ripple effects across the world. Well, with that being said, I heard that someone was talking about, I almost lost my train of thought here. Don't lose it. My train of thought here. Oh, man, I forgot what I was about to say, guys. I'm like thinking of like 4 different things at once. Hopefully it hits me. Hold on. I'm drinking an energy drink right now. If you guys don't know, I live in Florida. We just went through a tropical storm. Literally, like, it stopped. The sun just came out. It's like 7 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock. The sun just came out. It's been raining and dark for like 2 days solid. The streets are freaking underwater. We didn't get a lot of crazy rain, but I mean massive we didn't get a lot of crazy wind, but we got massive, massive rain. And I mean, it rained for 48 hours. Like, think of your most torrential downpours, 48 hours. And then throw in like 50 mile per hour winds, gusts, and 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And it's been a mess for the last like 2 days. So like all day today I've been like just chilling with my daughter, watching movies and like waiting for it to stop raining. So it's like now I just chugged an energy drink and I'm all like wired up, so hopefully I can get back to what I was gonna say, guys. Old said, I hope you're okay. I appreciate that, brother. I really do. Yeah, bro, it's Florida. We don't go running until it's like category 3, category 4, and I'm not even BSing you. A tropical storm, we're like, hell yeah. Usually people throw like hurricane parties and stuff like that, and we didn't lose electricity. everything was good. Everything was good. So, but yeah, so getting back to this, we're thinking that Jerome Powell possibly could have an emergency meeting in the next week or two. I mean, and they're not going to announce, hey, there's going to be an emergency meeting in a week. It's going to pop up, right, within like that day or the next day or something like that. And they're probably going to announce, if they do that, that means that they're going to be reducing interest rates fast. Now, I don't think that, with the interest rates being reduced, everything's going to go back to normal with the economy and everything else, jobs and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to, be like an overnight thing. This is what I was going to say, was that if you ask Jerome Powell, what is he more worried about, inflation or unemployment? He's going to tell you inflation, right? He's going to tell you inflation. What is he more worried about, inflation or a recession? He's going to tell you inflation, guys, because I heard this earlier, inflation wrecks economies, right? A wrecked economy could take down a freaking country. Let that sink in. And this is all, I'm not being dramatic, this is true. So at the end of the day, right, Jerome Powell is more worried about inflation than a recession, right? If we go through a recession, the market is going to crash. What we've seen right now is just the tip of the iceberg if we were to go through something like that, right? Jerome Powell, at the end of the day, he doesn't want to see the markets crash, but he's more worried about inflation, right? Because the markets they'll bounce back eventually, right? We've had cool offs in the market. We've had, I'm not going to say market crash particularly, like this is like the 1920s or anything like that, the Great Depression, but the markets, they've been at all-time highs, right? You can even say Bitcoin's been along with it. In the last few months, Bitcoin's hit an all-time high. NASDAQ, SPX, Dow Jones, all of them, they've all been hitting all-time highs. So if the markets retrace 10 or 15% more, it's not going to be the end of the world for Jerome Powell. He is focused on inflation. So with that being said, people think that he's going to come to the rescue like Superman and just drop the interest rates for the economy. Oh, save the economy. He's not going to do that, guys, right? I do think that he could do an emergency meeting and maybe do some kind of a, an ease, a random ease, maybe not wait until the next meeting that's in 40-something days. But I really think that that's going to be pretty much it for that. Like, I don't think that he's going to really, just basically say, you know what, screw inflation. I don't want the stock market to crash. I don't think he's going to be coming out like that whatsoever. So with that being said, you can see for the rest of the year, we have some of these numbers here. These people are calling. We'll have to see how it goes out. This is from September to December. Big numbers being eased. I don't know, as far as what's going to happen. I think we're more focused on September, which is in the next 40-something days. How much are they going to reduce rates? And I honestly think at this time, let's just say the markets are, let's just throw hypothetically, the markets, Bitcoin is at $45,000, right, in 40 days from now. And we see a reduction in interest rates. Do you think that Bitcoin's going to just run right back up to 70K like that off of reductions in interest rates? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to be our saving grace whatsoever. So, hopefully we see the markets recover fast, right? Hopefully we see them recover soon. But, this is typical in a bull run. And I will tell you guys, and I've been saying this before, when we see usually 30% dips or even more, like 40 or 50% dips, it's usually lasts for a month or two during a bull run. It's not something where it's just a V-shaped recovery, and in a week from now, we're right back up to $60,000+, right? And if that is to happen, then this wasn't the dip that's going to happen during the bull run. This was just some kind of a freak, black swan event. We recovered, everything keeps moving until we get into that actual dip. And I say this because it happens every bull run, right? It happens every bull run where we'll drop down 30 to 50%. We'll stay down for about 2 months, and then we'll come up and start making all-time highs. And usually that's when altcoin season and all that good stuff will follow. So I don't feel like we've gotten there yet. Right? If this was that dip, and let's just say we kind of tread sideways for the next few weeks, I would say, damn, we're probably going to $200,000, right? Because normally, like I said, we usually see about a 40 to 50% big dip, and it's a drawn out dip where everybody and their mother is basically selling off terrified, right? So don't be those people. Don't sell at a loss. Do not sell at a loss. Tim says if he drops rates too fast, it could cause higher inflation. Exactly. That's what happened in the 70s. That's what I was saying to everybody the other day. I was like, and he's at the end of the day, his job is inflation right now. That's it. He is trying to tackle inflation, but also trying to keep the markets at bay. The economy. I say markets, economy, they're kind of, they go hand in hand. He's trying to keep them at bay. But if the markets, like I said, if they have some kind of a retracement, or they continue to keep falling like they have been in the last week, he's more worried about inflation for right now. I told you guys, inflation can wreck a freaking country. Go look and see what when Rome went down, right? Rome went down. There was a lot of shit going on in Rome at the time, but there was a big thing was inflation. Inflation was at thousands of percent in the Roman Empire, and the people started freaking going crazy because what they were buying for their bread, now they have to use 10 times more, to buy that same loaf of bread. It makes people go nuts. It causes unrest, right? It can end an empire. That's what they're more worried about. Looking at the fear and greed index, I don't remember the last time that we have dropped so freaking fast. If you guys remember, in the last, few weeks, we've really been tackling, every day looking at this. And when we started really looking, we had just come out of this extreme greed. The last week, we were kind of hanging around 65 to 60. And overnight, we dropped 50% down to 31, to the number 31 as far as in fear. We're not in extreme fear, but we're in fear right now. Usually, I will say, if you look back in history, people that have bought during this time and had patience usually make profit. That's a known fact, right? Obviously, if we dip down even more into extreme fear, people that are pushing all that FUD aside, pushing their emotions aside, it's hard. When we get into extreme greed, it's hard. I'm talking about Bitcoin's down on its ass. Your alts are freaking struggling. You're looking at some of these major projects and you're like, are these things about to go to literally, are they about to go to zero? Because it's they're dropping so fast every day. That's extreme greed or extreme fear, right? And it's hard to push all those emotions aside and actually hit that buy button. But anytime that I've done that, and I'm telling you from experience, every time that I've done that, I've made out like a bandit. Obviously, you have to throw in patience on that, right? It wasn't just me buy in and then overnight or a week later I tripled my money. No, I bought in. It went down even more. You had to look at your red portfolio for a while, but eventually the sun came out and the lobster and shrimp and steak came out with it, if you understand what I'm saying, right? So, right now we're already in this beautiful time where if you have dry powder, like I was talking about yesterday, it's a great time right now. You're like, hell yes, you actually want to see more pain in the market, unfortunately, right? Because you're able to accumulate more. Hold on, someone keeps texting me. Okay. People know I'm streaming and they keep texting me. They always text me right now. Let's see here. I Stay Hungry said, I woke up to Bitcoin. Let's see here. 15%. Unfortunately, that emoji's in my way. I can't read what the hell. Oh, I woke up to Bitcoin down 50% and bought more, Milady. Nice. Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, I fell asleep early last night. Well, it wasn't too early, but I fell asleep and for whatever reason, my crypto, since I woke up, it was in the middle of the night and I'm looking and I'm seeing Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 50, 50,050, literally 50,050. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, we're about to go down to 49K. So I was like, fuck, it was 2 a.m. Yeah. And I'm like, I woke up. I was like, I'm up. And I'm sitting there just shopping, right? As Bitcoin and everything is dropping, I was just up. And I know a lot of people that were like that. I saw a lot of YouTubers that were like, bro, I couldn't sleep last night. And it was one of those nights where it's if you slept, you missed out on that big dip. You woke up a few hours later and we already kind of bounced. I mean, even though it was still good positions, right? But you want to try to, if you can get that bottom, you're in a better position, right? So, But it is what it is, guys. So yeah, right now, fear, I've never seen it drop down 30 freaking points overnight. I have never seen that happen. I'm sure it's happened plenty of times. I guess when I've been really focused on watching the fear and greed index, I've never seen it drop down 30 freaking points in just 12 hours, literally. Absolutely crazy. What's going on, Rodney? Real quick, guys, can you guys do me a big favor? Make sure you guys, we have almost 20 people here. Make sure you guys hit the like. Slap that like real quick, please, for me. I really would greatly appreciate that if you guys can do that for me. Now let's jump in. We're going to look at some projects, but let's jump into some bearish news on what possibly could be going on, and what we've already kind of, I'm sure a lot of people will cover this today, but let's just see if they give us a different take on what's going on here. So Bitcoin and Ethereum dropped dramatically, echoing the 2021's crypto market collapse. There is similarities. As far as like when we topped out in 2021 November. There are similarities right now, but I'm telling you, we're not at that level at all. Like, I would be raising the red flag, telling you guys, all right, shit is about to hit the fan. I don't feel it like that. I see the fear, right? I can see obviously a lot of the red flags as far as like Japan, and little things like the job reports that came out, possible recession that we've been covering, stuff like that I am seeing, but I feel like we haven't for sure, we're not for sure in a recession, right? Jobs that next, job reports can come out and we could possibly, be right back at like 3.9% and nothing happens, right? So I'm not really sold on we're mimicking the 2021 type of, 2021 November kind of a market crash. Now, I will tell you guys, I mentioned this the other day. I told you guys that Warren Buffett, we don't ever talk about these people. This is a big stock market person. Warren Buffett's a billionaire, right? Last week, he sold off 50% of his Apple shares, right? And this is a big thing. This is why a lot of people are getting scared, because when you see these big billionaires selling off big positions that they've been holding on to for so long, it can start kind of getting you in that where you're like, all right, what's going on? When we saw this in 2021, we saw Elon Musk, right? He wasn't open. He didn't have any talks about Twitter or anything like that. He wasn't, this wasn't anything like his board where he was like, all right, I'm able to get, because, he gets like Twitter shares every like few years or whatever the hell that is. He sold his personal, what he had. He sold like $10 billion. I think it was like $6 or $10 billion worth of Tesla shares in November of 2021. And the writing was all over the wall, right? People were announcing this, but people that were bullish like myself were like, even though I did sell around that area and almost got the top, a lot of people were just like, oh, no, he's probably just doing this to do that, and blah, blah, blah. But it was a signal. When you look back, it was a red flag kind of showing or letting you know, like, hey, big money's moving out of the market, right? What do they always tell us? That we need to swim with the whales. Don't go against them. So Bitcoin, Ether, and other crypto assets faced a sharp downturn on Monday over widespread risk of aversion in global markets. As of 6:35 Universal Time, Bitcoin traded 12.5% lower at 50,800. This move downward continued to decline from the previous week when it fell 13%, its largest drop since the FTX exchange collapse in 2022. At the same time, Ether dropped 17% to 2,200 pretty much. Ether's been getting slammed, bro, bringing its total losses to more than 30% over the past week. Its steepest fall since 2021. The entire crypto market is down nearly 12% in the last 24 hours. Investors are increasingly concerned about the possibility of the U.S. recession, exacerbated by growing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, Israel and Iran. This combination of economic uncertainty and global instability is driving a risk-off sentiment among investors. Weak job growth and rising unemployment spook investors. So we have those two catalysts right there, right? We have the geopolitical tensions, and then we have a possible recession that we could already be in. Let me tell you something about a recession. They don't say, hey, we're getting into a recession. No, they usually tell you, because it's the numbers that they generate for them to figure out if we're in a recession, like unemployment and a lot of other things, are usually lag, right? So usually by the time we're in a recession, we don't really some of us might know, right? Some of us might know because there's just writing on the wall, but majority of the economy won't even know until after the fact, right? Because the lagging numbers are usually a quarter behind, and I mean a quarter of the year, like 3 months behind. Usually they look back and they're like, we were just in a recession, something like that. So the unexpectedly low job growth in July, coupled with the unexpectedly high unemployment rate, indicated as a marked slowdown in the labor market. This has heightened recession fears, leading to a 2.3% drop in the Nasdaq and a 1.84% drop in the S&P 500. Let's see here. Said the crypto derivatives platform Flipster's CEO Youngin Kim. Kim noted that the market sentiment has shifted due to the diminishing impact of the Trump rally and increased election odds for Harris. So this is another thing too. Disclaimer, not going to get political whatsoever. We're kind of past all that right now, right? But another catalyst that's also bringing the markets down is that the elections in the states have gotten close, right? Unfortunately, they've gotten close to where, Trump, you go back a few weeks ago, it was like written there that he was going to win. And then they basically, the left, the Democrats were like, we're getting rid of Biden because he's not winning. We're going to bring in someone new, right? Someone younger. They bring in Kamala. Well, why are the markets possibly looking negative at that? Well, I've told you guys this. Just because they're putting in a new face for the Democratic Party doesn't mean anything has changed with them, right? Now, remember, I'm not going to get political. I respect everyone's political views whatsoever. This is not a political channel whatsoever. I focus on the crypto, the money, and the facts, right? And the facts is that in the last 3-4 years that we've had a left-leaning government, crypto has been under attack a lot, right? It's been able to survive, but if you're over there like, oh man, come on, are you serious? Yeah, I'm dead ass serious. Gary Gensler works for the damn government, right? He works for Biden, and the dude has been attacking crypto at any cost, right? He's been let off, right? As far as they told him stop because he's the numbers on the election, right? They want to win an election, but what do you think's going to happen if the left continues in office? They're probably going to continue their stance of being anti-crypto. It is what it is. We have Elizabeth Warren, anti-crypto. We have a lot of these left-leaning people over there. Unfortunately, they are in the pockets of investors or big entities that do not want to see the crypto market flourish right now, right? I'm sure they have their hands in crypto, and down the road they want Bitcoin to get to high numbers, but for right now, they don't want that happening, right? So they have their dogs out there. These are the donors. These are the people that pay, for all these people to be in office and stuff like that. Remember, I don't care who you vote for. I really don't care. I'm just stating facts, So that's why when they mention that with the Harris and Trump now, people are like, holy crap, this election's gotten real close. There's a possibility that Harris could, get her way into the office, as scary as it sounds. And with that being said, you could see, a continuation of, of the SEC coming after these exchanges, coming after these cryptos that they just deem to be securities, right? And all that is negative for the market. What did Trump say? He said the day he gets into office, he's firing Gary Gensler. Now, I know this is all talk, but imagine, we have people that are listening that are diehard crypto, and they're looking at both parties. They're like, well, we've had 3 years of these people, and they've been attacking crypto. Now we have this other person. Put all your hate aside, right? This person saying that he said everything that you want to hear if you're pro crypto, right? Regardless if you hate the guy. I'm just going by what was said at the crypto conference, and you're like, all right, I might give this guy a chance. I'm toward the other side, but I might give this guy a chance. That's why the markets were also rallying as well, right? Well, now that the political landscape has gotten so tight and so close, you have people worried that that homeboy might not get in, Trump, and we might be dealing with possibly. Now, Harris has tried to change her tone on crypto. I do have to give her. I have to say when the facts. She has tried to change her tone on crypto and saying that she could be a little bit more open to crypto, right? But do we believe that? That's the question. I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself. And I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying, do you believe that, right? It's uncertainty, right? It's just more uncertainty that gets thrown into the mix on top of everything else that we have, right? So I was just explaining that. Again, I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. I respect everybody's votes. I do. Make sure you guys hit those likes. That's what I'm more worried about. I'm going to judge you if you don't hit the damn like. So let's hear. I'm just going to read this again. So Kim noted that the market sentiment has shifted due to the diminishing impact of the Trump rally and increasing election odds for Harris. Additionally, the movement of ETH to centralized exchange by jump trading amid speculations of exiting the crypto business following the CFTC investigation has unnerved investors. In response to these developments, investors are looking for a greater clarity regarding jump trading situations, election forecasts, and potential buying opportunities at current market levels. And then look at this. Over $800 million liquidated in the past 24 hours. And I told you guys this. If you guys can see this, so 39 million in the 1 hour. This is obviously earlier today, I believe. This article came out earlier, but you can see 39 million in longs, 400 million in longs. I mean, look at this. These numbers are insane right here as far as how many people got liquidated that had long positions, so, and that on top throws in just more gasoline because that has to be covered. All those longs that are getting liquidated have to be covered. So that's more Bitcoin being sold into the open market. So let's see here. So investors pull out of 237 million from Bitcoin ETFs marking largest outflow in months. So Bitcoin exchange traded funds ETFs experienced their most significant outflow in 3 months. You guys hearing that? So not only are we seeing a lot of this, on the retail, but we're seeing a lot of the ETFs. Ethereum has been decimated, and I think on top, the reason why Ethereum's down so much, even right now, usually if you see Bitcoin down 3%, you'll see Ethereum down 3.5%. Well, today, if you look at it, even though Bitcoin's bounced a little bit, you have Bitcoin right now down 5%, and you have Ethereum down 8%. Earlier, Ethereum was down like 12%. It has retraced somewhat. But what I'm getting to is just, Ethereum's been hit hard even more because it has ETFs now. Wall Street, you have these, and I already told you guys, the beginning of these ETFs is going to be bumpy. So you have all this right now going on in the market, and you probably have Grayscale or whoever the hell is probably selling off, trying to build liquidity for their Ethereum ETFs, causing even more sell pressures on top of that for Ethereum particularly. So let's see here. Large-scale withdrawals from Bitcoin's ETFs are typically indicative of broader market sell-offs, which can further depress Bitcoin's price. The recent 237 million outflow represents the largest single-day withdrawal in 3 months and fourth largest since the ETF's launch in January. This significant outflux highlights the current bearish sentiment among investors. So, let me see here. Crypto market under pressure from potential surplus supplies and government sales. The crypto market is also grappling from potential government Bitcoin sales and the possibility of a surplus supply from token returns to creditors in bankruptcy cases. Moreover, the recent liquidation of 830 million worth of bullish crypto derivative positions within a 24-hour period has indicated by CoinGlass data suggesting the leverage bets are unraveling. And you guys, on top of all this, we still this has been thrown in the back burner. But remember last week we covered that the U.S. government had transferred $2 billion worth of Bitcoin that was seized from Silk Road. They moved it to 2 different wallets, one of them confirming that it was an exchange. Have we seen a sell-off? I haven't seen any kind of confirmation from that sell yet or anything like that. But, this could be throwing on more fuel onto the fire, right, guys? So, The point is yes, we are bearish right now, right? If anybody's telling you anything different, they're just trying to sugarcoat it. I mean, I saw a lot of people, I watch YouTube just like you guys, and I saw a lot of people, they were bearish, and rightfully so for right now. We're in a bearish time during a bull market, right? It happens, guys. It happens. I have been telling you guys that I have been seeing this on the charts for the last month. For the last month, even probably more, I've been telling you guys that I just feel like the markets are going to be having some kind of a retracement. And I told you guys I have dry powder on the side, and I've been waiting. And I just started buying back in as of last night. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? You would think that I had a crystal ball and I freaking, knew this was coming. Well, I had the charts, and I have been being very transparent with you guys, telling you guys, the markets look that they're retracing for the last month. I feel like it's been a little bit over a month that I've been saying this. So, it is what it is. I know some people just do not want to sell. I understand. I completely understand. But now you got to, don't sell for a loss. You got to ride it out. And I think that, this is not going to be a long-term thing. All we have to base off of is the last bull run, right? And I told you guys on the last bull run, I'm not even going to pull the freaking chart up because I know you guys are like, bro, stop pulling that chart up. We've seen Bitcoin retrace, do things that we're seeing right now. We've seen far worse, right? But I think what the next stage of this downward move is we're going to find a bottom. Have we found it yet? Possibly, right? If we haven't, more pain. But let's throw the scenario that 49,000 was the bottom, right? That was the bottom. A lot of times we're going to chop sideways. There's going to be times where, like right now, Bitcoin just ran up to 55,000. It did get rejected at 55K, as I was just speaking. You're going to have times where it just looks like we're trying to rally up or we're trying to retrace here. But when you zoom out and it's been 4 or 5 weeks and we're kind of chopping around this, you're going to see that we're basically just chopping around, going sideways, consolidating, right? We're going to be good. We could be sitting like this for the next month or two. This could be for another week. The time frame is something that I think a lot of us are not going to be able to pinpoint. Like I said, we're going off of the charts from 2021. Things aren't always the exact same. They will be similar, but not going to be the exact same. And I think what's going to be similar is going to be the retracements, right? What's not going to be similar is the time frame, is what I think. So we have the world is a complete different place than it was back in 2021 to what it is right now. We talked about the geopolitical aspect, right? What if something, big flares up over there and big regional powers are drawn in? That could prolong us from moving back up, right? You got to throw all these scenarios out, and you have to understand that you have to try to make your most logical decisions on right now. If you're buying these dips, you have to understand that this could be, a drawn out thing. If you didn't sell off, in the last few months and you're holding right now, this could be a drawn out thing. Right? It's gonna, if it gets drawn out, let's say we're like this for 3 months. I mark my words. You think you have diamond hands, right? It's gonna get rough. Where I'm saying you're gonna be looking at your portfolio and you're gonna get sick of seeing red, right? And the only thing that's gonna stop that red is if you sell, is what you think. And you're gonna sell at a loss, right? And you're gonna freaking hate crypto, right? But you know what? You're gonna come right back when we start rallying again, and you're gonna buy when we're already up 40 or 50%, and you're going to do it all over again. So with that being said, we're all in different scenarios here, right? We're all in different boats. All I can say is be patient out there. If you don't have to, not financial advice, do not sell at a loss, right? I know it's going to be rough. I know it's going to be hard. You're going to be all right. You're going to pull through. I've been in those shoes. I've been there. We've all done this. Some of us prepared for this, some of us didn't. It is what it is. If you didn't prepare for this, right? Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes, because the markets are going to go through all this again. We're going to go through it all again. Eventually, in the next year, we're going to be right back in a bear market, right? And you're going to be terrified to buy in. I'm not, though. I'm going to do exactly what I did on this last bear market a year or 2 years ago. And I'm going to just be buying in and accumulating. So when we do get in a bear market, I'm not going to let that greed take over, right? What have we been talking about for the last 2 or 3 months? That greed, especially in my members only courses. don't let that greed take over. If you're up good on that position, secure your bag. You're always going to have more opportunity out there, right? And this is the opportunity right now. People that are buying these dips, eating up these bottoms right here, if let's just say this is the bottom, they're going to be the ones making out really well in this, and whenever the markets retrace back up. It is what it is. It's how it plays out. Usually people like that have been around for a while. They've been around for a while and they've made those mistakes. We've all been there and we've all done it. So enough chit chat, enough talking about all this stuff. What do you guys, what projects do you guys want to look at? So Tim said Kamala and Biden won't let this happen for long. Bidenomics will straighten all this out. There we go. BP's in the house. Let's go, gang. We're here live. Let's go. Discount sale. Buy what you can. Let's pull up some DeFi real quick. So let's see here. So for NFK, our project, you guys can see we are technically down about 10% for the 24-hour period, but we're down a little bit more than 10% because we had a big sell-off this morning. I think it was. I haven't been pinpointing the charts, but we did see a nice big sell-off this morning, unfortunately, right? And I saw the wallet that sold off. I knew who it is. It is what it is. They sold for a loss. Good luck, buddy, right? Some people just, they're not built for this life, They're not built for life. This same person that sold off for a loss was, and I'm not trying to talk trash. They've been very bearish in the Discord. I knew it was coming. So, I'm actually happy. A lot of you want, unfortunately, like I said, I'm not going to talk anything about these people, but some people just, they aren't built for this life. Their emotions, either they invested too much that they can handle, or their emotions take over and they're just like, I have to sell for a loss. I don't care, so hope they learn a lesson as far as just like maybe not investing too much, or you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like only time usually when you have emotions involved, in your investments is usually when you put a little bit too much that you're not willing to lose, right? And you're emotional about it. You're like, holy crap, it has to move up, and weeks go by and you're like, it didn't go up, and you're all bearish and you just sell for a loss. And then those are the same people that are like, I hate crypto. So let's look at call. Holy crap, call's market cap. So Art was asking me, Crip, did you buy in on call? And by the time I freaking saw this drop, dude, it was already coming up and retesting this 34 right here. So I'm kind of just letting it be, bro. Like I said, I tell you guys, if I have a certain level, right? I'm going to buy in at this level. Usually I stick to it, right? And I said that I was going to buy in if it hit this 27, 28 area or below. Well, it tapped it, and I wasn't watching the chart when this happened. This probably happened last night when I was buying a bunch of ordinals, in the middle of the night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. What kind of crazy person's up at 2 in the morning sitting there watching Bitcoin get down to 49? Like, my puppy was in the room. She's like, my dog's looking at me like, what in the hell is the matter with you? I'm like, we're rich. We're going to be rich. No, but then I buy in when I wanted, right? And then I start scouring through other stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let me check. And I go and look at call. And by the time I looked at call, it already had bounced. So I was like, damn it. It is what it is. I don't flip out if I don't catch, you can't buy them all, right? You can't buy them all. But at the same time, I know I'll get my opportunity if I just have patience, right? I always tell you guys, patience. Patience is key here. So I'll just keep my patience and wait. But it is looking freaking juicy. $28 million market cap getting down there in the nitty gritty. I can only imagine it's at 37 right now. When it dropped down to that 28, the market cap was probably at like 22, 24 million. Getting down there to those numbers, bro. When I called out call, this was in the Discord. I called out call when it was at $400,000 market cap, 400,000, right? This thing ran up to $100 million at one point, right? So, I mean, we called this project early. The day that it dropped, I had bought in on call, and a lot of people on the Discord did, But the point I'm getting to is even buying in at right now, to me, it's like, remember, I think we had this talk yesterday. Someone was asking me or telling me, they're like, bro, I want to buy in on this project, but it actually will bring my average up because they got in at a really good price point, right? And I'm like, I hear you. I'm the same way, but you have to push your ego aside, right? That average price, you have to put your ego aside. If you know that you're getting a good price right now, even if it's more than what you originally bought in on, you know you're going to make money off this purchase, put your ego to the side. Don't worry about your average coming up a little bit, right? And what I'm getting to is, when I had bought in on call, we were 150th down where we're at right now. The price was, it's not even on, this is the VVS chart. It was on MMF at the time. It still is on MMF. That's why I bring that chart up originally, because there's a whole chart back here that VVS is not showing because it wasn't trading on VVS yet. But we had bought in when it was like down here at these levels, right? So where it's at right now is me buying in at, to me, a high point compared to where I originally was buying in on. So that's why I'm like, I'm waiting. I believe that call is going to be one of those projects on the Chrono network that is going to, it already is, but I think it's going to really do really well when we officially get into like DeFi season, right? DeFi season follows after alt season, right? Altcoin season. Altcoin season follows after Bitcoin hits another high, all-time high, and the markets are just flourishing, right? Then you'll see a lot of those profits and a lot of those people that are in the big cap projects moving into altcoins. Alts will start going absolutely ape shit, and then you'll see people going from alts or keeping alts, but also taking those profits and really going crazy into the DeFi space. What we've been seeing in Solana for the last year, you put it like that for Solana, how Solana's just every day is insane as far as the DeFi, but across the board on every ecosystem, right? And then to how Solana is probably going to be times 5 as far as the amount of money that's going into their DeFi space. So that's going to be DeFi season. And when we get into that, a project like Call, I really do think is going to get up to those multi-hundreds of millions of dollars. Could even get up to $1 billion possibly down the road. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I did not catch that dip necessarily. Right now is not a bad time, honestly, to buy in on Call, in my opinion. Just not particularly my price that I'm waiting for, or it's not at the price that I feel comfortable buying in on. But looking at all the other projects, Mary technically up about 2% in 24 hours. But Mary's been hit in the last month or two. This isn't nothing different. It really looks like it really didn't take a big dive as of last night when the markets were dipping. The reason why you're seeing Call do that is because Call is on a major exchange. So you have a lot of that major exchange money. They're going to run with, what Bitcoin's doing and stuff like that. So if we're seeing a big dip in the traditional market, you're going to see that in some of these DeFi projects that are traded on major exchanges as well. Mary's not traded on a major exchange, so it's strictly through DeFi. DeFi is a little different. It usually has a lag effect, for the most part, in regards to when you see, if you see the markets rallying, it took Cronos a solid few months for them to really start to, to get some traction again as far as people developing projects on here and money flowing in. And it's the same way. Markets start retracing. DeFi will still survive for a few weeks, a few months, but eventually it'll trickle over to DeFi as well, and you'll start seeing that money shrivel up, and there's not going to be a lot of volume in DeFi as well. So it goes kind of both ways there. You can see for the 24-hour volume for Cronos is at $20 million, and that's probably, I would imagine, a lot of people selling off on Cronos. So Ryoshi down 20%, Moonflow down 10%. We already looked at Call. Buy the Dip. That's a funny name, especially for right now. Buy the Dip down 7%. So you guys can see, as far as Cronos and DeFi, definitely been down, or is continuing that downtrend for right now. So looking at some of the other charts, look at this, guys. Who's not screaming out? So we did a poll on the Discord in regards to what people were buying, and one of the options was Jasmy, and Jasmy was actually the top pick what people said they were buying. So you guys remember yesterday's stream. Jasmy had just bounced off this 20-day moving average. This isn't the SMA simple moving average. This is the actual 200-day moving average. Jasmy had just bounced, right? And she looked like she was going to find some support. I told you guys yesterday, I said, listen, that's a very bullish move. But I said if the markets are going to continue to dump, this was last night before Bitcoin really started to take a shit. You know, I was like, if the markets are going to continue to dump, Jasmy's not going to be able to hold that 200-day moving average. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw Jasmy break the 200 eventually, come down all the way down to 1.5 cents, guys. 1.5 cents. And right now, Jasmy is under 2 cents. 1.9 right now. You can see she's hitting her head at that 2 cent mark, which is going to be a big spot for some resistance for right now, especially if the market's kind of gonna is gonna kind of just sit around and go sideways. Jasmy is most likely gonna have an issue with breaking above that 2 cent mark. So possibly could be a good time to accumulate and add to your bag on Jasmy for right now. Let's look at Jasmy's market cap. Under $1 billion right now. Jasmy's under $1 billion. So not looking bad at all. What's Ordinal's market cap? Damn, Ordinal's market cap's under 500 million. Looking juicy. Looking juicy. So Jasmy, I was going to say it's the biggest downward mover that I have on my watch list, but it's not. The biggest downward mover that we have right now is Myro. And what's crazy is Myro, I tell you guys that I'm always looking at Myro, right? Small cap meme coin on Solana, but also on a lot of major exchanges. So it has that potential. When Myro dropped down to 6 cents, I was looking at it. I was freaking looking at it. And I was like, I told you guys I wanted to get a big bag of Myro. And I didn't pounce. I told you guys I didn't pounce. I usually do this where whenever we see like nights like last night, I'm like fixated on one project, right? And it was Ordinals. I told you guys for the last month, Art, you're my witness, right? I told you guys, I was like, I'm getting a bunch of Ordinals. I don't care who has to pay for this. I'm doing it, right? And that's exactly what happened last night. I was so fixated on getting Ordinals that I put everything to the side, right? All the other projects that I was like, I'm going to be getting this, I'm going to be getting that. I put everything to the side. Now it's just like Ordinals, right? I'm either going from Bitcoin's chart back to Ordinals, and I just kept adding and adding as we continued to drop. And when I went back to Myro, I had already dropped a big bag on Ordinals, and I was like, I'm gonna wait. Because if it gets down to now, I keep lowering the bar for some of these projects. Like for Myro, I was like, I'm gonna wait for 5 cents, because that's where I originally bought in on Myro. I bought in on Myro back when Myro came out. Was like one of the hottest sensation DeFi projects. If you guys remember, Myro came out when Dog with Hat came out. Like, I mean, literally the same day, right? Around that same day. So you had, these, I call them OG DeFi projects because these projects came out during this cycle, right? But a lot of them made it to mainstream, like BONK, Dog with Hat. Myro didn't get as big as those projects yet. That's why I've always kept my eye on it, right? So Myro ran up to like $200, $300 million market cap, and then it dropped out of nowhere down to 5 cents. And I ended up picking up a big bag of that and selling off when we ran up here at around 37, almost 40 cents. So after I sold that, I was like, you know what? I want to get Myro again. But I'm just going to wait for a solid price. And you guys remember when we were up here, I was like, I'm waiting for 10 cent or below, right? We hit 10 cent. Now we dropped down, like I said last night. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till 5 cents now. I keep lowering the bar, and I tell you guys, whenever I set something like that, I usually stick to my goal. So what I'm getting to is if Myro, retraces back down, and I think she might back down to around 6 cents, around where we kind of bottomed out so far, around that lower 6 cent mark, I'm going to start probably just buying in on Myro, slowly but surely just picking it up and kind of doing the same thing for our beloved Milady as well. Those are the two meme coins that I've decided that those are going to be the ones that I pick up on, right? Milady, Let's go to Myro real quick and look at the market cap. So Myro's market cap right now is 68 million, so very, very small. And then let's look at Milady's market cap real quick. Milady's market cap is at 58 million, so even smaller, right? So with that being said, you know, these are going to be the two meme coins that I'm going to have in my portfolio, my arsenal, that I think are going to produce probably the better gains. Now, you can look at like PEPE right now. PEPE is I think PEPE is going to be the biggest meme coin when all the smoke clears. I still do believe that PEPE is going to be number one. Going to dethrone Doge is pretty much what I'm saying, right? PEPE right now is down 12%, but we'll pull up PEPE's chart. PEPE is down 12%, finally broke below its 200-day moving average, right? But if you pull up its freaking market cap, I haven't seen it, but I guarantee that bad boy is probably still above $2 billion, right? Let's look at it. Yeah, it's at $3 billion, you know? So, you know, I think that there's going to be massive upward movement whenever we get running on PEPE, but I think there's going to be more gains to be had on Myro and Milady. That's what I'm thinking. But if you're picking up PEPE right now, I don't think it's a bad move. I don't think it's a bad move at all. As far as when the smoke clears, I think PEPE is going to be those one of the main project that's at the top per market cap, $50+ billion, right? It's already shown its strength. This thing has jumped up. Let's see, all-time market cap of already $7 billion. And you have to remember, at the beginning of this year, PEPE was at 400 million, right? This thing ran up in the last 7 months up to $7 billion at an all-time high when it was at. So, I mean, this thing has the potential, I honestly do think, of dethroning some of the major meme coins like Shiba and Dogecoin. I really do. But it still brings me to my argument that I think that Milady is going to produce more gains. It's not going to get as high as PEPE as far as market cap. I hope I'm wrong, and it shatters every freaking meme coin, right? But even if it doesn't do that, even if it gets to like I've been predicting, that $2 to $10 billion market cap, from where it's at right now, we're back at these levels, guys, where let's just say we're at $50 million right now. If it ran up to $1 billion, that's a 20x. Just $1 billion is a 20x from right now. A little bit more. I'm sorry, a little less because it's at 58. But we're thinking right now. We're comparing if it was at $50 million right now, right? That's a 20x to get to $1 billion. $2 billion, 40x. $3 billion, 60x. $4 billion, 80x. You get my drift here? If it gets to $5 billion from where it's at right now, that's almost 100x from where it's at right now. Take that in. I hope I'm giving you guys hopium on some of these meme coins, and I know some of you guys are invested in these projects and you're down on them right now. I understand. But right now, if you have the opportunity to bring your averages down, you know, this is an opportunity. I don't want to say, why aren't you doing it? Because we all have different financial situations. We just read a freaking article that we're possibly in a recession. So I know there's people that are watching the channel that are you know, not struggling, but tight on cash, right? I respect you. I understand, bro. I completely understand, right? So that's why I want to make sure that, like, I don't word it like, what are you doing, bro? Are you dumb? You're not buying. No. Feed your family, bro. Feed your family. Make sure you take care of those bills. And then if you have anything extra, that's what you do if you're able to, right? But family's first. Yourself is first. You know, you want to make sure that you're good before you can even, because what if you're throwing in money right now that maybe you don't need this month, but you're going to need it next month and you know it. And let's just say we're trading sideways, or we haven't even seen the brunt of this dip. You know, those are the things that you have to, you know, take into consideration and be careful. You have to be very cautious. So, but yeah, so those are the two meme coins that I'm looking at. You know, as far as that I feel is gonna have some good gains. A couple other projects that that have been decimated that I'm really looking at, but I don't know if I'm gonna pull the trigger. Is like Arbitrum. Arbitrum, you guys know I'm pretty bullish on Arbitrum. It got down to about 42 cents. It hasn't really retraced much since that drop. It's at 48 cents. Arbitrum, let me see here. Arbitrum, I do like. It's a layer 2 project on Ethereum. I'm just like, I don't know, since they started releasing more into their circulating supply, and they did it only a few months ago. That was it, and then that was it. They have a time frame of like every year, every other year they're going to do it. I just really haven't like, once I heard they were doing that, the price started dropping. I was like, I had price ranges that I was going to buy in on. And when I found out that the price was dropping because they were diluting the circulating supply as they planned, this isn't like something they did maliciously or anything like that. They had it planned, you can read white papers and see on, a lot of the projects, they do that. They release like every year, every 2 years is for the growth long term for the project, right? They have to be able to provide on exchanges and whatever the case is, or whatever they have as far as their roadmap is. They have to be able to stay true to that, and a lot of that is releasing, a certain amount into circulating supply. But it does dilute the price short term, and that's why, if you go back 2 months ago, Arbitrum was down under $1, but the market cap was the exact same, and that was because they had released, I believe, like 15 to 20% into circulating supply, So with that being said, I really kind of been like, I'll kind of wait, but they are done with their the diluting of the circulating supply, and it is at a good price right now. Market cap right now is at about 1.6 billion. So the reason why I haven't really jumped on Arbitrum is because for 1.6 billion, I put that as like a lower higher market cap project. There's other projects that I'm looking at that I feel like I can get better gains off of, and one of them is like ICP. ICP is another project that obviously you guys know I've been watching, as far as buying in and selling. And I did sell recently at like 10 something, and I had the opportunity last night. That was another one to buy in at around $6.30, and I kind of held off and diverted my attention over to ordinals. Why? You guys already know why I've already picked ordinals as like my main Dane for right now. So, but now that I've accumulated a lot of ordinals, now if we continue to move down, I'm going to be focusing on other projects right now to pick up. So, and ICP is one of them. What's the market cap at? Around 3 billion. So, but yeah, with that being said, guys, I like I keep telling you guys, just keep your head up. All this is going to pass, right? We just don't know the time frame. And I tell you, you go through these feelings, these emotions, but there's always going to be those two emotions, or there's two things that you're going to say. And right now, you're at a point where you can be accumulating at good prices. When we move up, I'm going to say it, you're going to say it, we're all going to say it. If it's a month down the road, a week down the road, and, we're back up and, the sun's shining and everybody's back to being very bullish, you're going to be looking back and you're going to be like, damn it, I should have bought more, right? I'm going to be saying the same thing because there's never enough, And then at the same time, it's vice versa. When we're up, you're going to be saying, damn it, I should have sold, So the key points is really trying to find those two key areas and listen to the little voice inside you. Don't let that greed take over. Right now that we're in fear, though, right now is a great time to be greedy, right? Right now is a great time to be greedy. When everybody's all scared, eat up those dips if you're able to. Have patience. It'll pay off. I think we already covered majority of these. I don't even want to get into any more bearishness. We've already covered enough bearishness. Looking to see sometimes, like right after we get off, oh, look at this. Harris likely to pick Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro for vice president. Prediction markets say. I Stay Hungry said, I need the markets to stay down until Friday. You know it's not going to work out like that, right, bro? You know it's going to start rallying Thursday night right before you get paid. Right before you get paid, it's going to start rallying because they know they're listening. They just saw what you said and they're like, "Oh hell no!" Nah. All right, some whales like, "All right, we're pumping the we're pumping the crypto market. The whole market's about to start rallying Thursday at like 10 o'clock." And we're not going to really get into this article, but this is why people are like, you know, they are I think they're putting their hatred aside for a particular person, right? Hence, you know, what we're looking at right now. And they're kind of like, well, you know, they're thinking about crypto, right? And when you see something like this where it says President Trump proposes Bitcoin for $35 trillion US debt crisis, right? You hear that and you're like, holy crap, right? This guy, what he's saying, this is all talk right now, right? We haven't seen it. But something like this, we haven't heard any politicians talking about this, right? We definitely haven't heard any candidates talking like this. And when you see stuff like this, you know, that's why the markets are like, shit, you know, they're pushing towards, they want to have this guy in office, right? Because they think that out of both candidates, Trump's going to be the more pro Bitcoin. And I think, I honestly do believe that. And the reason is, in my opinion, right, is that Trump has a son, it's Byron, I believe, or Barron Trump. The kid is full, like how we are, full-blown freaking crypto maniac, right? Freaking loves crypto. And I think he's the one that's really been in Trump's ear and really opened his eyes as far as, you know, you don't have to attack crypto, right? You actually can work with crypto, and it might actually solve some of the issues that we're having financially in this country, right? Even if like, let's say that he's proposing this, you know, the left is seeing all this, right? Maybe that could spark something with them too, to where they're like, maybe we can use Bitcoin to our advantage, right? Maybe we can use it to, you know, pay off the debt so we can help, you know, stuff that we're funding over in Europe, you know, stuff like that. Who knows? The fact that they're just talking about this stuff, the fact that there's a freaking article about, is good in the long run. Obviously right now, people, they see it, it's good, but they're seeing the, you know, the dip that we're going through right now, and they're like, I don't really give a shit right now, right? But something like this, if this was to happen, you know, it, regardless of what party's in office, would be nothing but a plus long term, I think, for the market, for Bitcoin. Because I mean, think about this: $35 trillion in U.S. debt. Obviously, Bitcoin wouldn't be paying, you know, wouldn't be able to back all that fully right now. But just like we were talking about, you know, a few weeks ago, you know, as far as him using it as some kind of a federal financial reserve, you know, or backing the dollar 5 or 10%, that's a lot of money that could go into Bitcoin, right? And if the government's using it as a reserve, they're holding like gold, right? They're not selling off when it goes up to a high. They're holding. That could bring so much stability in Bitcoin as well. So those are all big things, guys. Like I said, you know, at the end of the day, if you're taking anything from what I said today, just keep your heads up. We're gonna be all right. Eat the dip up if you're able to, right? If you're able to, don't get yourself in a financial bind, because we don't know how long this is going to be. Like I said, looking at Bitcoin for right now, right? We just ran up to 55.5 and got rejected, right? We got rejected. We're still running under the 200-day SMA moving average on the 2-hour, which is a short-term bearish indicator, right? So, you know, if we had broke above this 20-day, I could say, you know, we might be seeing some little bit of a relief, and that could change. We could go off live, and the next hour or two, something like that happens where it flips and we're above this 20-day moving average. But for right now, at this split second, we're still looking bearish right now, short term. You know, so just be safe out there. We're gonna be all right. We'll see how the Asian markets treat us tonight. I'm a little worried, like, because they've been pretty brutal. They've been pretty brutal. Now you gotta remember, Japan It's going through a big financial crisis over there. I'm hearing same thing with China, been going through a big financial crisis, with the economy and stuff like that. So, with all that being said, we could see, more sell-offs in the Asian market. Hence, usually when it starts to become nighttime in the middle of the night for the States, obviously we know everybody's awake over there, and that could be they could be, selling off again or selling off more. So we'll see how this plays out, guys. Obviously, I'm going to be right here with you guys 100%. I'm not going to leave your side no matter what. I don't care how freaking rough it gets. I promise you guys, I will be here with you guys, all right? And I always give you guys a safe space, and this, I'm not just saying this, a safe space for us to talk about crypto, even good or bad, right? I started this channel off during the bear market, right? So trust me, I remember when I'm talking about the bottom of the bear market. So I remember us going through all this stuff, and it was rough coming out here every day, talking about crypto when people were just like so bearish, right? But I will be here for you guys and try to give you guys that long-term hopium, because everybody that was with me during the bear market, I know when we were up like crazy, I know some of you guys were telling me what you were holding on to, and how much you were up, right? And that's what it's all about, right? Getting those good positions when everybody's scared, but I think what some of you guys need to learn, some of you guys, is to take your profits when you're up, right? When we're up, I know you always have that thought that like, I'm going to sell and it's just going to continue to move up. It's going to continue to move up, and it probably will. But if you get that, if you make your money, you secure that bag, now you have a lot more dry powder. If you can throw in patience with it, right? Because you had patience, you bought in during a bear market, you had all that patience, right? Till when we got in the bull market. Even if you didn't sell at the exact top or whatever the case is, now you have more fuel for you to take care of whenever we do dip. You're probably gonna need patience to wait until we get into these times like right now. But right now, if you'd have done all that, you're happy as hell, because you're just basically doing it all over again, right? And that's what it's all about. That's what the smart money's doing. That's what the big money's doing. So with that being said, guys, I thank you guys so much. Keep your heads up. I will be here tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow, same time. I don't give a crap what happens. I will be here with you guys, all right? You guys be safe out there. Hit those likes. Hit those subscribes. We'll hit the subscribe one time, because if you hit it twice, you're going to unsubscribe. So hit the subscribe, not plural, but hit it once if you haven't already. And I thank you guys so much. Have a good night. I'll see each and every one of you guys tomorrow, all right, guys?